Shamai everyone, how are you all? I'm creating this video because I was given a challenge by my friend Vic to make one of these pyramid albums. Her and I are going to make one on a retreat we're going to the next couple of weeks. So I did a little bit of research. I watched a Graphic 45 tutorial. I'll share a link in the description box below. And then my friend James, once I'd made one, my friend James does lots of things in school with children, crafty wise. So I thought, at least if I did a video then, I'll be sort of sharing it with lots of different people. The Graphic 45 one doesn't have as many layers as this one. So I did a little bit of maths. I know you'll be amazed to know. Maths isn't my strength, but I did a little bit of maths and added a few more layers on. And then I thought I'd tie it with a ribbon. So at least then it's easy to keep together, because once I start opening it, you'll see what I mean. So it's called a Pyramid Maze album. So there we go. And it's lots and lots of layers. And they open out and alternative ways. Alternate. There we go. I've used some Paige Evans papers. I think this is Garden Shop. And there we go. And that's the back. And then there's a back piece as well. So if you were to open it all out, it would be, I suppose, like a Z fold card. And the good thing is, there's lots and lots of opportunities then to put photos of a special occasion. So here we go. I'm gonna create a Christmas one. Don't judge me. I also created a template for myself using some old papers I had around. There we go. Just to sort of work it all out. I put, excuse me, my measurements then. But I've also written all the measurements out. I'll add those in the description box below as well, just so you can see it all in one place. You will need 7 pieces of 12 by 12 pattern papers. Now I've used double-sided because you will see both sides for each of them. So single-sided, you just have a white side. And then 5 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. Now the Graphic 45 uses grey board. I've just used really thick white cardstock, which is much cheaper. And the papers I'm going to use are 49 a market for the next one, and they are quite thick themselves. So there we go. There's, as I say, that's my template. So I've written everything on there. I think it's always handy, if there's something you want to make again, to create yourself a template that you can keep it in your craft room. So then you needn't go looking again for the tutorial. You will think, right, okay, let's have a little look at all the measurements. So they're all to hand. So I have cut everything ready. There we go. And now I shall put it together with you. I will explain the measurements for each layer. I'm going to have to turn this over because I'm going to work from the base up. So my first piece, the white cardstock, is 8 by 8 inches. I found it a little bit white. I know that makes no sense whatsoever. So I have just inked the edges with Lost Shadow Distress ink because these papers are a little bit grungy. This piece, you will need 1 piece here. This is 8 3/4. 8 3/4 by 7 3/4, and you're going to put it into your scoreboard or into your trimmer. Now I've got a Stampin' Up trimmer with a cutting blade and a scoring blade. So I then, whatever you do, put your cutting blade out the way, because I've done that as well. So just scored it then 1 inch up here. So it'll give you then a little bit of a fold. And your other piece of paper, your second piece, is 7 3/4 squared. You are going to butt that up into there. So you're giving yourself a double page. Okay. So I'm going to do that first. I am using Nuvo wet glue. I think for this project you're better off with the wet glue because it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room if you stuck it down in the incorrect place. Now I'm just going to turn it round so it goes into that crease because you want it to shut perfectly, if that makes sense. There we go. Just making sure I haven't got it sticking out the top. And just press it down hard. It was really hard to choose which papers to use. This is 49 a Market Christmas Spectacular, and I didn't have lots left because I did my December daily with it. But I find that if I don't use things up, they'll just sort of sit in my Christmas papers, and then I just buy new ones each year. There we go. So you then just add in your wet glue all over, and you're going to stick it then centrally. Now I might have to stand up for this just to make sure. Once I get to the smaller pieces it's easier to see, but for the bigger ones, so as you can see, that's why it's easier to use a bit of wet glue, because it gives you a bit of chance to move things around. I am a lover of double-sided tape, but once it's stuck, it's stuck. There we go. So it opens up like that. So that is your first page. Then you're going to stick another piece of white cardstock, and this one is 7.5 inches. The white cardstock is going down at 1/2 inch each time. Excuse my croaky voice. I have no idea why I've gone croaky just to come and do this video. It's the beginning of Whitsun half term year, it's the Sunday. Now usually I'm getting everything ready for work tomorrow, but the nice thing is there's no alarm clock in the morning. So once again, I'm going to stick that so it's got a little bit of a border all the way around. Press it down all over. Now this back page is the only one that uses 2 pieces of paper. All the rest then are coming out of the sort of longer pieces. Do not throw any of your offcuts away because you can make your smaller pages then. So that one's going to open this way, which means we're going to stick this one so it opens the other way. Okay, so this shorter piece is the piece you're going to be sticking down onto this white card, because it'll open up every other way, if that makes sense. Once again, I'm just going to stand up just so I can sort of see that I'm putting it in the right place. There we go, and just press it down. These papers are just absolutely stunning. I'll then go through it and I'll probably add a few more pockets in. But I won't do that in this video, otherwise you'll be here for about 7 hours watching me. So then that piece, your next piece of white cardstock, is 7 inches squared. Apologies that I'm working in inches. It's just the scrapbooking papers are 12 by 12 inches and it makes it easier then. And I am rubbish converting inches to centimetres. There we go. Then that's going in the middle of there. Again, press it all down. Don't put too much glue, there's going to splurge out the side. So if we see what we've done so far, that one opens that way, this one opens that way. So the next one is going to open to the left. So here's my piece again. This one is, well, I don't think I told you the score for this one, did I? This piece here is 12 by 7.25, and you're scoring at 4 3/4. 4 3/4. This one then is 12 by 6 3/4. And that shorter side again is going to be stuck this way down. As I say, I'll put all the measurements in the description box below. There we go. So what I had to keep doing is just checking. So that's going this way, so this one then will open the other way. Because sometimes, in the excitement of crafting, you might forget which way you're sticking down. Which isn't a huge problem, because some people just have it and they all open up like a normal card would. But I think this one just gives it a little bit of extra. If you've got papers with words on, just make sure you're sticking them the right way round. Okay, layer 6, which is the card. This is 6 1/2 squared. So that's going on next. If you, as I say, if you've got directional papers, before you cut them, just make sure everything is facing the wrong way. Right way. Everything is facing the right way. You don't want it facing the wrong way. Okay. Gonna stick that down here. Like that. And then this piece is 12 by 6 1/4, and I've scored across at 5 3/4. So I'm scoring from the left each time. So that's going that way. Again, this shorter piece is being stuck there, so it's opening up the other way, the opposite way. You will need to use your bone folder to make sure you've got nice sharp creases. As I say, 49 market is a perfect one to do this with because the papers are really thick. So then that's going in the centre again, just giving you a little bit of a white border. And I just think, even though you can't see much of the grey, it just gives it a little bit of extra. I'm just going to use my bone folder there. So there we go, that's the next page. Our next piece of cardstock, let me just check I'm on the right one. Yeah, is 6 by 6. There we go, and that's going to be stuck there. So as I say, you will need 7 pieces of 12 by 12 pattern paper. And then you will need 5 sheets of 12 by 12. But once you've gone past the 6 inches squared, you'll start getting all your smaller pieces out of your offcuts. There we go. Stick that one down. So then, if we check again, so that's going that way, that way, that way, that way. So this one will then go this way down. Once again, I've got writing on it, just making sure it's going the right way. And this piece is 11 1/2 by 5 3/4. You're scoring from the left at 5 3/4. Majority of them now will be in half. You'll be folding in half. You'll have repetitive strain injury from squeezing your glue all the time. There we are. But they look so impressive when it's all done. And it's just something a little bit different. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to keep it, as I say, I am in advance doing Christmas things in May. Okay. Next piece of paper. This piece of card is 5 1/2 inches squared. That's going there. I've also got myself some ribbon because I'm going to tie it up together. It just saves it all sort of flapping open. There we go. That's going there. But this would be a nice present for someone, or would be nice if you're going on a special holiday and you want to keep all your photos in one place. So this piece of cardstock is 10.5 by 5.25, and once again you're scoring from the left at 5.25, and it's going this way, and I'm just checking that my writing is the right way around. I'm just making sure. I don't think that's quite square there. I keep checking. Yeah, that's definitely the right way. Is it? No. Nope, it's the wrong way. But that's okay, because that's going to have a piece of card on it. I'll just wipe that off a second though before I get it stuck to everything else. There we are, look, it's got to go that way. It's lucky I checked. As I say, he's going to have a piece of card stuck on the other side anyway. But I'm going to get everything else stuck on it in the meantime. There we go. That's going there. Then this piece of cardstock is 5 by 5. And that's going there then. Just make sure there's no scabby bits of glue. But you also want papers that are going to give you lots of pattern on the edge, because you only see a little bit. But if you've got papers which have got lots and lots of white edges on, you're not going to see much of it. You could also use craft cardstock as your background, or black, but you're looking for a thicker piece of card really, or you could use chipboard. But I've only got the manky colour grey board, and I didn't think it would sort of look as nice then. So the next layer is 9.5 by 4.75, and you're scoring from the left at 4.75, or you're scoring in half. That's going that way. Once again, I'm checking which way my writing's going. Obviously, if you've got papers which are just a general pattern, like a geometric one, you aren't going to worry so much. Like when I did my template, it didn't matter. But on the other one I did, then I had to check that. I don't think I did any writing on that one anyway. Dear me, let's have a drink. This is, you can see how much thicker this one is to this one, because these are lightweight paper, sorry. But I think 49 Market are more like cardstock. So this one is 4.5 squared. That's your next one. That's going there. So as you can see, it's going down by a 1/2 inch each time. Is it just me that manages to lose glue on a table when, you know, you just sat here, but it seems to walk off? Okay. And then, so there we go. This piece here is 8.5 by 4.25, and you're scoring at 4.25. So that's going to go that way. I love these traditional type papers. I love Christmas papers, well, let's be fair, I love all paper. I do think that ordering cardstock and papers is a different hobby to actually crafting with them, and then organising them is the third hobby. There we go. So you can see now how chunky it's becoming. You could do this for a really special birthday card as well. You know, if you had lots of people that were going to sign it, or you had lots of people with photos of the birthday person, you could add them all to an album like this, or a little card like this. This next piece here then is 4 by 4. So that's going to be stuck then to the top. I think the graphic 45 one stopped around this sort of time. but I just wanted to add a little bit extra. Obviously, if you're going to add embellishments, I would sort of keep them flat. Otherwise, it will be like one of the Egyptian pyramids by the end. So that opens that way. This piece here is 7.5, let me just check, 7.5 by 3 3/4, and you're scoring at 3 3/4. So my tip would be, make sure you keep checking which way the one's open before. There we go. That one's going on there, and that one is. My other tip would be to use wet glue and a bone folder to give yourself nice crisp fold lines. This one is 3.5 by 3.5. See, my glue has now decided to clog. There we are. I make lots of Christmas albums, and yet on Christmas Day I often forget to take photos. So this year I need to improve that. And then this is going to be my top one then, and this will probably have like the title or a nice embellishment. There we go. If you're doing it for someone for their birthday, you could put, if they were a special age, the age on it or their name. Okay, so let's have a little look of it in all its glory. That way, that way, that way. And the nice thing is you've got such a lot of space then to add like journaling or photos. So there we go. So I'm going to add some red ribbon to it before I add my background piece. So you want it, if this piece is 8, I'm going to draw myself some little lines at 4 inches. That's going to be roughly the middle then of where I'm going to put, and I'm going to use red line tape for this, which is the hardest backing in the world to take off, I find. Obviously this is all going to be covered. So I'm going to use a nice, what's this size? A 1/2 inch. So I'm going to try and get that to be the centre. Don't go right to the edge, because obviously your paper, this piece of paper is 7 3/4, so you don't want any tape hanging over the side. Let's find my tape scissors. There we go. And make sure, and ask me how I know this, you've got enough ribbon then to tie a bow at the front. So I'm going to cut it. And then try and get it so you've got the same both sides. There we go. This is probably the best tape for this, only because it will hold it down really well. Now, I find I can tie bows until I'm on camera, because you wanted to tie flat, and then I can't. See, this is twisted. Oh, sorry. It's lucky I'm not doing a masterclass in bow tying, really. Oh, look, it's going to stay like that for now. I'll sort it out then. So I'm just going to tie that shut. Then, once again, if you've got anything directional on it, make sure you put it the right way. or make it easier on yourself, and don't use anything directional. The good thing about 49er Market, their cover piece of card is actually a usable piece. So their cover sheet always has a pattern on the back or some cutouts. This piece then will keep your ribbon firmly stuck down and will hide any tape. There we go. Just check that that's in the right place. Once again, you couldn't do that if you weren't using wet glue. Okay. So, just pressing down with all my might. So there we go. I've now got upside down, sorry. Let's try that again. There we go. And then that is the Pyramid Maze book. What I'm going to do, I'm then going to, off screen, I'm going to add some pockets. And then I'll show some photos at the end of the finished product with some embellishments. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm hoping at some point in my life to start creating a few more videos. Because even though things have calmed down on the labouring front, there's still so much to do. So thank you for joining me. Take care and I'll see you soon. Hwyl fawr. Well, shwmae. This is me back now with the powers of television. This is my album all finished. This is the next morning, actually. Well, looking at the time, it was the next afternoon. And I've filled it. I've added some extra pages, some little pouches, and I've managed to tie the ribbon so it's flat. So all is well with the world. I'm just going to untie my ribbon. The only thing I would say, if you're going to make yours quite a chunky little album and you're going to add photos, you might need to adjust the length of your ribbon. So this is my front cover. And then it opens out. I haven't decorated every single page, but on some of them then I've done an extra flip up page. So you can add some more photos, because obviously the smaller pages, you're going to have to judge the size of your photos as well. I've just added some little embellishments. Added a big flower there. As you say, I've added nothing to this page because it's quite a busy page anyway. I've just got to keep making sure I'm still in view. Then this one, I added the holly on this side and I've just got a little pocket. This is one of the big embellishment pieces from the collection. So it's nice that you could tuck, say you're going to see a show, you could tuck your tickets in or some extra photos or like a shopping list. Then I did another one here. This is just a piece of ephemera again. You could just use pieces of paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm just moving across. And I've made a couple of tags then out of some offcuts of paper. And I just used my tag punch and added a little bit of twine through it. That's coming out this side. Again, this is quite a busy page. But because of the white, I did add the wording and the tree there. And then, this one then, I've left this page blank, but this one I added another piece of the big embellishment pieces. Just added some tabs in here that you could sort of stick things on. And then this is the back page then. I just made a little banner, punched some holes and threaded my twine through. Then I have just secured the twine at the back using a bit of double-sided tape. And I put a word on the bottom. So that is a Christmas version of the Pyramid Maze book. This is the first one I made. And this one is thinner because the papers are a thinner quality. Obviously, once you fill it with photos, they are going to get chunkier. But something different, I thought. And I've made something ready for Christmas. I don't think I've ever made anything for Christmas this time of the year. Thank you all so much for joining me. Once again, I did get my inspiration from Graphic 45 video, so I'll share that in the description box below. And I will also add all the descriptions of all the cuts and all the sizes. So, happy crafting everyone. I hope this helps. Take care and I'll see you soon. Hwyl fawr.